Hello everyone, my name is Alex Silva and you're watching Image Weekly, the home of image creators. Today it's the follow-up of the previous question that some people ask us photographers. What camera should I buy? And today I wanted to talk to you, well, in previous videos I talked about the amateur recommendations, then some recommendations for enthusiast photographers. But today is about people who are probably turning into a working professional in this area. And people who actually work as photographers, they could use entry-level equipment, but well, it turns out that you realize that yes, you could shoot with the most basic of cameras, but you realize sometimes that you need a more rough body or something with a longer battery life, things like that. And you need probably higher frame rates. You probably need better definition, dual camera slots in case you want to record in one card and make an automatic backup or things like that. That's actually the way I shoot. And you probably need a camera body with some level of weather resistance. And well, those are usually the requirements for a working photographer. So and it's more or less like the enthusiast photographers. People don't start at this level, so they probably already have some lenses, or in general terms you have a budget specifically for the camera body, and you have another budget for lenses and accessories and things like that. So in those cases, in terms of this video, the budget that I considered is that it should start at $1,500 and then go up. These cameras, the working cameras, are not cheap, and so that's why I think they should be reserved for working photographers who have the required cash flow, and this is pretty much a working capital for their businesses. So that's why these cameras are not cheap, and they have these very special requirements. But in general terms, if we go back to the requirements, rugged, higher frame rates, better definition, things like that, and some level of weather resistance and dual card slots, we're talking about an all-around camera that can handle pretty much, for this video, we're talking about all-around cameras that can shoot weddings, sports. They can be used in studios, things like that. So you need a lot of versatility if you want to start being a paid photographer. You probably are already specializing in something, but the cameras that I'm going to cover in this video are pretty much all around. They can be used for many different specialties in photography, and that's why, as mentioned, they are not cheap, things like that. So let's get to the list, and we're going in the same order that we covered in previous videos. Let's start with Canon. Canon actually has two options here, more or less like the enthusiast, but there's a major difference between both. We're talking about the 7D Mark II and the 5D Mark IV. There is, please consider this, there is a $1,500 difference between these two models, but the 7D Mark II is an APS-C sensor camera, while the 5D Mark IV is a full-frame camera. Both are very capable in terms of speeds and things like that. Low light performance. Both are great. They both offer weather protection, dual card slots, 65 focus points. The 7D Mark II shoots full HD video, while the 5D Mark IV shoots 4K. Probably not the best implementation of 4K, but it does it. And the 5D Mark 7, sorry, the 7D Mark II shoots 20 megapixels, while the 5D Mark IV shoots at 30 megapixels. Both very capable cameras, but consider the price difference. So if you're moving from APS-C in the Canon system and are considering a full frame camera, consider both of these and consider the price difference. With Nikon, let's talk about Nikon. You have also two options, and more or less like Canon, we're talking about APS-C versus full frame, and there is a price difference between these two, actually a $1,500 difference. We're talking about APS-C and full frame. We're talking the cameras are the D500 or the D850. The D500 is APS-C, the D850 is full frame. Talking about really briefly about the D850, it was considered the best camera for 2017 by many review sites. So it is a great camera. Both offer weather protection and dual card slots. The D500 has a 20 megapixel sensor, while the D850 shoots at 45 megapixel. The D500 is slightly faster when it comes to shooting for sports or things like that, at 10 frames per second, while the D850 shoots 7 frames per second. As it happens with the Nikon lens lineup, not all lenses are compatible with both bodies. Actually, the D850 is not quite compatible with the DX lenses. So keep an eye on that. Let's talk about Sony really briefly. Sony, when selecting the cameras within the range and with the characteristics that we were looking for this video, there was a very simple choice, the A7R Mark III, which is their latest iteration in the whole A7 family, which is an amazing camera. It is full frame, it offers weather protection, dual card slots, which was a really sought after feature. It shoots at 42 megapixels, 10 frames per second. It offers 399 focus points, which cover pretty much the whole frame. That focusing system is also amazing. And it also offers in-body image stabilization, so it stabilizes the sensor within the body. So you have stabilization with any and all lenses that you mount on this camera. So it is a great option. Sony, as mentioned in a previous video, has grown a lot in terms of their offering, but also in terms of their sales, because their products are awesome. Their life cycle for each product is not super attractive, but well, it's part of the game. But in any case, the Sony A7R Mark III is a great option. Let's talk now about Fujifilm, which is the camera system that I use. And well, Fujifilm offers two top-of-the-line cameras. There is a slight price difference between two. I think it's $100. We're talking about the X-T2 and the X-Pro2. Both are very similar in their specs. They both shoot at 24 megapixels. They both offer dual card slots and an amazing lens lineup. Fujifilm lenses are just simply amazing. However, there are differences between the two. The X-T2 shoots at 4K, shoots 4K video, shoots at 11 frames per second, and it has the form or the shape of an SLR with the viewfinder on top. While the X-Pro2 shoots video at full HD, shoots 8 frames per second, and it has the shape or the form factor of a rangefinder with the viewfinder on a corner. And it offers a very interesting viewfinder, which is called the hybrid viewfinder. You can use an optical viewfinder with the frame lines, like a traditional rangefinder camera, or you can convert it to an EVF, an electronic viewfinder, and that works just like any other electronic viewfinders. Both great cameras, and yeah, the main difference is in the well, that I mentioned before, the frame rates, the video capabilities, and the form factor. And let's talk about micro four thirds. Here it was also a bit tricky to select the options, but I went for the Panasonic GH5 and the Olympus EM1 Mark II. Both offer the same 20 megapixel sensor. They both shoot 4K video. They both offer in-body image stabilization and dual card slots. There's a slight difference in terms of their frame rate when they are using burst mode. The Panasonic shoots at 12 frames per second, while the Olympus shoots at 15 frames per second. In general terms, in all this lineup, all cameras offer dual card slots, weather protection, seriously high definition sensors. So we're talking about great cameras in all this lineup. And actually, this is something that I mentioned in this series of 3 videos. Pretty much any camera that you choose nowadays is great, it's awesome, it offers great performance. I don't think there is a camera in the market right now that you would be that you could say it's bad. There are some disappointments here and there. We're talking about the 60 Mark II, but in general terms, there's not a bad camera nor a bad lens or whatever. This is a great time to practice photography because all the gear that is available for us is awesome, it's amazing. Offers great performance, great reliability, great image quality. So it's amazing. So whether you are an amateur photographer from the first video, or you are an enthusiast or a working professional, pretty much any gear that you use will help you. However, I made all these classifications because requirements are a bit different in these three groups. And as you can see, the offering is also slightly different. So I really hope all these lists help you, and I'll do my best to keep making them about some other gear. And well, if you like the video, of course, well, like it, press the like button. If you think I missed something, or would you like to add more to the list, that's great. Leave a comment, please. And if you want to keep getting all this information in a timely way, please subscribe to this channel. If you, of course, you prefer to read all this information instead of watching a video, well, you can also subscribe to my weekly newsletter in my website or my blog, imageweekly.com, and you will find all of this information in written form, and of course, and also some more information there. And so please visit my website, subscribe to this channel, like the video, leave a comment, whether it's here or on the blog post, and please remember, keep learning and keep shooting. See you.